Hi everybody, so in this video it's the third and final video where we're going to combine supply and demand and see what it looks like and what happens to price and quantity as a result of the interaction of the two. So for each one of these we're actually going to start with both of the lines on the graph. So I'm going to actually pause my recording. I'll show you what I'm going to do and then I'll pause it after the first one. And then I want you to redraw that 8 separate times on this graph. Okay, so just give me a second and I'm going to go ahead and draw one. Quantity, price, demand goes down, and supply goes to the sky. So I want you to draw that and then put a little dotted line and a little dotted line to where the two lines cross. Now those cross points, whenever lines cross in economics, it's probably important. And these cross points tell us that this is the price, and we'll just put price 1, and we'll say quantity 1. That's how much is going to be produced in this market, and that's going to be the price. So redraw that picture 8 times. Okay, hopefully you were able to redraw those 8 pictures. You can see that I did it myself as well. So it may seem like, oh gosh, Colossians, this is really tedious. Yeah, but the nice thing is if you do this 8 times, your muscle memory is going to start to develop. You're going to be asked to draw supply and demand graphs over and over this whole school year, and graphs in general. And it's not, we're never going to get like super technical with our graphs, but getting in the muscle memory of like draw the 2 axes, draw the lines, it's really, really important. So I'm going to ask you that you do that. Now, there are no slides really, because this is all we're really doing here. We're just going to show the increase or the decrease, and then we're going to show what happens to price and to quantity in the market. So increase in demand, we know that's a shift to the right. So I'm going to label these as D2 just because I realized we put P1 and Q1. So let's have D2, and that's a shift to the right, and you can put a little arrow. And then let's put some dashed lines so we see that quantity goes up, and what happens to price? It also goes up. Okay, so we go up in price and quantity as a result of the demand curve increasing. Now, if the demand decreases, on the other hand, right, shift to D2, a little shift to the left, just like that. We go from this point to this point. Now we're at Q2, and I don't know if you can see my little arrow, decrease in quantity and a decrease in price. Okay, so good so far. And if it helps you, you can write off to the side, you know, P goes down and Q goes down. You could do that if that's something that'll benefit you. Increase in supply is a shift to the right. And you can see that now something a little different happens, right? The quantity went up with the increase in supply, but the price actually decreased. And so there is a slightly different outcome if increase in demand versus increase in price. Right up here, you've got a higher price. Down here, you've got a lower price. Now, if the supply decreases, then the quantity will go down, but the price will rise. So again, it's that inverse relationship happening there. It's actually describing the law of supply and the law of demand. Now, for these bottom ones, things are going to get a little wonky. We're going to shift 2 curves. You can do it though. Don't get scared. Now, increase in supply and a decrease in demand. So demand's going to go to the left. So we started up here, and now we're like down here. Now, what you can definitely tell is that price went down, right? That's for sure. But you could imagine a situation where I drew this thing and you wouldn't really be able to tell. Like if I made the demand curve go way over to the left, right? Way over here, imagine that way over to the left, then the price definitely goes down, or sorry, that would actually be over here. The price would definitely go down, but the quantity would decrease. And you can see that depending on the magnitude of these shifts, that the quantity is going to be a little wonky. In this one, the quantity change is indeterminate. Okay, and that's actually going to be true for both of these 2 pictures. So notice that we could 100% tell that the price goes down when these situations happen. And if you draw it with a relatively proportional shift, you won't be able to even see a change in the quantity. But that doesn't mean that quantity didn't change. It just means that we can't tell. So for these, quantity is indeterminate. Indeterminate. Okay. Now, decrease in supply. Let's see how this one plays out. S2 and an increase in demand. Notice how I kind of drew both of those 2 shifts roughly the same, though the same size. Right? This curve moved this far, and then this curve moved this far. If we go from here up to here, you can see that the price definitely went up, but the quantity is going to depend on the magnitude of the two shifts, like which one's a bigger one. So again, for both of these double shifts, right, the quantity is indeterminate. Now for these, let's graph these and see what happens. Increase in supply and an increase in demand. So both of the two curves are shifting to the right. So we went from here to the new D2 and S2, which is here. Now for this one, the quantity pretty clearly moved to the right, but depending on the magnitude of the shifts, the price might be higher or lower, or it might be even the same. So the price is indeterminate. Price is indeterminate. And now we're going to do this one, decrease in supply, S2, and a decrease in demand, D2. Little arrows there. So we started here, and then we moved to this one, S2 and D2. And in that one, the quantity pretty clearly changed, right? But the price, again, is indeterminate. So here's a quick rule for you, a rule of thumb, is that if you have a double shift, if two shift, then either P or Q are indeterminate. Like one of the two, you're not going to be able to tell. All right, so that's all we've got. Hopefully that helps you. I'll see you next time.